All right, all right, all right. I didn't start the last video with all right, so I just want to make sure I haven't forgot about that word yet. So hope you appreciate the word all right. Actually, a little thought for you here. All right is actually two words. A lot of people think it's one, but it's ALL and then a space and then RIGHT. Look it up if you're bored. All right. Got you there, huh? So we are going to continue on here with Act 1, Scene 5. This is the first time that Romeo and Juliet meet each other. Remember, Benvolio just wants him to go to the party to see other ladies so that he can, get over Rosaline. And the reason why Romeo has any interest in going is because Rosaline's going to be there. Mercutio talks about dreamers and how dreams, just lie, that there's not truth to them. Romeo doesn't feel that way, but he's kind of been talked out of that by Mercutio here. And so here we go. And so scene 5 starts, and it's Peter, who's the servant that was the one that was reading, and other servicemen, and they're just getting ready for the feast, for the Capulet party. We also know that Paris is going to be here tonight. He's trying to woo Juliet, and then we also know that Tybalt's going to be there. Because we've seen the movie, but also because he's the cousin of Juliet.
Where's Podpan that he helps not to take away? He shift a trencher, he scrape a trencher.
Good manners shall lie all in one or two men's hands, they unwashed too. 'Tis a foul thing.
Away with the joint stools, remove the cork cupboard, look to the plate. Good thou, save me a piece of marchpane, and as thou lovest me, let the porter let in Susan Grindstone and Nell. Anthony and Podpan.
Aye, boy, ready?
You are looked for and called for, asked for and sought for in the great chamber.
We cannot be here and there too. Cheerly, boys, be brisk a while, and the longer liver take all.
Well,
all right. So Mr. Peter here and the servant men leave, and then walks Mr. Capulet, Tybalt, Mr. Capulet's nephew, Mrs. Capulet. We have Julio. There we go. That doesn't work. We have Juliet, and then we also have Romeo, Benvolio, his cousin, and his friend Mercutio, who's friend of the prince as well. And they're wearing masks. Right? We saw this in the video. It's a way to conceal your identity, and so it begins. Here we go.
Come, gentlemen, ladies that have their toes unflaked with corns will have a bout with you. Aha! My mistresses, which of you all were now denied to dance? She that makes dainty, she, I'll swear, hath corns. I come near you now. Welcome, gentlemen. I have seen the day that I've worn a visit, and could tell a whispering tale in a fair lady's ear, such as would please. 'Tis gone, 'tis gone, 'tis gone. You are welcome, gentlemen. Come, musicians, play! Aha, aha, give room, and footage girls. More light, you knaves, and turn the tables up, and quench the fire. The room has grown too hot. Ah, sir, this unlooked for sport comes well. Nay, sit, good cousin Capulet, for you and I are past our dancing days. How long is now since last yourself and I were in a mask?
Lady, 30 years.
What, man? 'Tis not so much. 'Tis not so much. 'Tis since the nuptial of Lucentios come Pentecost, as quickly as it will, some 25 years, and then we masked.
'Tis more. His son is elder, sir. His son is 30.
Will you tell me that? His son was with a war 2 years ago.
What lady is that which doth enrich the hand of yonder knight?
All right. So he asks the serviceman here, he says, who is that girl on the arm of that lucky knight over there? I'm just going to tell you, who is that girl, Juliet, who is on the arm of that lucky knight? That would most likely be Paris here. And the serviceman responds, I don't know. And you have Mr. Capulet and his cousin, and they're just reminiscing on the days of young, way back in the day when they had to walk uphill both ways to school on a gravel road. And it it was always negative 20 degrees outside.
I know not, sir.
Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. So shows a snowy dove trooping with crows, as yonder lady o'er her fellows shows. The measure done, I'll watch her place of stand, and touching hers make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Forswear its sight, for I ne'er saw true beauty till this night. This.
So Romeo here sees this beautiful woman. Remember, he's there to kind of check out Rosalind, but he sees this woman as Juliet, and he is intrigued by her beauty. She shows the torches how to burn bright. There's a good pickup line for you. Oh, you make the torches burn bright. That's another way of saying you're smoking hot, right? She stands out against the darkness like a jeweled earring hanging against the cheek of an African. Her beauty is too good for this world. She's too beautiful to die and to be buried. So these are pretty intense thoughts. He's probably a little, he's just in awe, and I think maybe there's some hyperboles in here, but he definitely sees a beautiful woman who he's never seen before. But he's pretty intense on what he's thinking about here. Let's continue.
By his voice should be a Montague. Fetch me my rapier, boy. What, dares the slave come hither, covered with an antique face, to fleer and scorn at our solemnity? Now by the stock and honor of my kin, to strike him dead I hold it not a sin.
Why,
So Tybalt picks off that Romeo's there. He picks off a Montague's there. He wants to fight him. Remember, there's the prince that said, if there's any more fights like this, you're all going to be banished. And Mr. Capulet just kind of tell him to calm down. He was like, hey, just calm down. Like Romeo, I know him to be a good man. Obviously, I know he's not supposed to be here right now, but just let it be.
how now, kinsman, wherefore storm you so?
Uncle, this is a Montague, our foe. A villain that is hither come in spite, to scorn at our solemnity this night.
Young Romeo, is it?
'Tis he, that villain Romeo.
Content thee, gentle cause. Let him alone. He bears him like a portly gentleman, and to say truth, Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. I would not for the wealth of all the town here in my house do him disparagement, therefore be patient. Take no note of him, it is my will. The which if thou respect, show a fair presence, and put off these frowns, and ill-beseeming semblance for a feast.
Fits when such a villain is a guest, I'll not endure him.
He shall be endured. What, goodman boy? I say he shall. Go to. Am I the master here, or you? Go to. You'll not endure him. God shall mend my soul. You'll make a mutiny among my guests. You will set cock-a-hoop. You'll be the man.
Why, uncle, 'tis a shame.
Go to. You're a saucy boy. So indeed, this trick may chance to scathe you, I know what. You must contrary me. Marriage is time. Well said, my heart. You are Pringles. Go. Be quiet. More light. More light. For shame. I'll make you quiet. What? Chilly, my heart.
Patience perforce with willful choler meeting makes my flesh tremble in their different greeting. I will withdraw, but this intrusion shall, now seeming sweet, convert to bitter gall.
All right, so Tybalt here, he doesn't get along with his Uncle Capulet here, Romeo or Juliet's dad, but he listens. He's pretty ticked off. We have a couplet here at the end, meeting and greeting, shall and gall. And so there's something to pick off there that Romeo's still rhyming, and or that Shakespeare's still rhyming, and we'll continue on here.
If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle fine is this, my lips, two blushing pilgrims ready stand, to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints lips and holy palmers too?
I, pilgrim, lips they must use in prayer.
Oh then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray, grant thou, lest faith turn to despair.
Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake.
Then move not, while my prayer's effect I take. Thus from my lips by thine my sin is purged.
Then have my lips the sin that they have took.
Sin from my lips. O trespass sweetly urged, give me my sin again.
You kiss by the book.
Madam, your mother.
Okay, so some things to appreciate here. Obviously, we have another sonnet. We have hand and stand, this and kiss, much and touch, this and kiss again, to and do, prayer and despair, and then it ends with sake and take. And so we have a sonnet between the two of them. Again, you'd really appreciate that if you Shakespeare's right in this situation. What I really appreciate about it is that Romeo, or that Shakespeare just, he does something a little different. It's not the prologue. It's two characters talking back and forth, and pretty intense stuff here. That he touches her hand. He tells her, "Oh, you're like the most holiest place in the world," right? And it's pretty intense stuff here. But they kiss again, and then the nurse gets involved here, and that's where we ended.
Other craves a word with you.
What is her mother?
Mary Bachelor, her mother is the lady of the house, and a good lady and a wise and virtuous. I nursed her daughter that you talk withal. I tell you, he that can lay hold of her shall have the chinks.
So he finds out here that Julia, he doesn't even know her name, is a Capulet. Obviously, he's pretty bummed by that, but it's the first time he figures that out. And you can also tell the nurse is like that person when you ask a question. That person in your life, you ask a question and every answer is responded with a, 3-minute response. That's kind of what we get out of the nurse here.
Is she a Capulet? Oh, dear account, my life is my foe's debt.
Away! Begone! The sport is at the best!
Aye, so I fear the more is my unrest.
Nay, gentlemen, prepare not to be gone. We have a trifling, foolish banquet towards. Estin so. Why then, I thank you all. I thank you, honest gentlemen. Good night. More torches here. Oh, come on, then. Let's to bed. Sirrah, by my fay it waxes late. I'll to my rest.
Come hither, nurse. What is yon gentleman?
The son and heir of old Tiberio.
What's he that now is going out of door?
Marry, that I think be young Petruchio.
What's he that follows there that would not dance?
I know not.
Go ask his name. If he be married, my grave is like to be my wedding bed.
His name is Romeo, and a Montague, the only son of your great enemy.
My only love sprung from my only hate. Too early seen unknown, and known too late. Prodigious birth of love it is to me, that I must love a loathed enemy.
What's this? What's this?
A rhyme I learned even now, of one I danced withal.
Anon, anon. Come, let's away. The strangers are all gone.
Now old desire doth in his deathbed lie, and young affection gapes to be his heir. That fair for which love groaned for and would die, with tender Juliet matched, is now not fair. Now Romeo is beloved and loves again, alike bewitched by the charm of looks. But to his foe supposed he must complain, and she steal love's sweet bait from fearful hooks. Being held a foe, he may not have access to breathe such vows as lovers used to swear, and she as much in love, her means much less, to meet her new beloved anywhere. But passion lends them power, time means to meet, tempering extremities with extreme sweet.
So we find out here that Juliet loves a Montague, and she's pretty devastated. You can pick off the couplets there, and you can just kind of sense the devastation that they have, And at the end, the chorus, there's a little prologue here. It actually starts Act 2, Scene 1, but they put it in the recording here for Act 1. So I'll just read you. Romeo's old feelings of desire are dying, and a new desire is eager to take the place of Rosaline. Romeo groaned for the beautiful Rosaline, and she said he would die for her. But compared with tender Juliet, Rosaline doesn't seem beautiful now. Now someone loves Romeo, and he's in love again. Both of them falling for each other's good looks. But he has to make his speeches of love to a woman who's supposed to be his enemy. And she's been hooked by someone she should fear. Because he's an enemy, Romeo has no chance to see Juliet and say a thing a lover normally says, or do things like, go to the movies or go bowling and stuff like that. And Juliet's just as much in love as he, but she has even less opportunity to meet her love, obviously because she's a female and a daughter. But love gives them power, and time gives them the chance to meet, sweetening the extreme danger with intense pleasure. And it's just part of that. Like when you're in love with people, you do things that maybe don't make sense to others. I'll give you a good example. When I was dating Kristen, one time she was sick, and when I got done with work, when I was teaching at that time, I went over and brought her soup and whatnot. And well, why would you do that? You just drove through rush hour for 45 minutes to drop off some soup and to check on your girlfriend. Well, yeah, I did that because I was in the beginning stages of loving this woman who I eventually married. So something that we can definitely appreciate, something we can understand, and I think it's something too. Like sometimes we have these devastations that take place in our life, and we think we can't go on, and it doesn't mean it doesn't mean that you're not going to remember it, but the fact of the matter is that usually we can go on. It just takes a little bit of time, and sometimes for Romeo and Juliet's case, or for Romeo's case, it doesn't take a lot of time. So, great examples like my dad's death. Obviously, I love my father. I always have, always will. And the thought of him dying and watching him die, and that those stages after that, what do I have? I don't have my dad around anymore, and I've persevered through that, and here I am. 16 years later, married to Kristen, or not 16 years later, yeah, married to Kristen, and we have 4 children, and hopefully next week we'll have number 5. So that's it, folks. I'm not going to end with all right, so I'll just tell you to have a majestic day, and we will talk to you, or I will talk to you quite soon on another recording. I'm sure you can't wait.